I'm delighted on morning to be chatting with Tony Award winners of Broadway, Patti, LuPone, Mandy, Patinkin, who are heading back on stage together, which we're very excited about. Why did it take you so long to sort of get back together for this on-stage love affair of music?
Well, our careers just went in different directions. We never lost touch, but what got us back together again was a presenter in Richardson, Texas, who called my agent and said, I have Mandy, how about Patti? And called Mandy's agent and said, I have Patti, how about Mandy? And put us together. He was the first person that put us together.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
How do you feel about musicals from Broadway going into Hollywood and being movies?
You mean musicals turning into movies?
Yes.
If they work, great. I thought Chicago was beautiful in terms of recent films. I thought Hairspray was fun. But nothing compares to the old ones that Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire and all those guys did for me.
Yeah.
I sure wish if I could have lived in another time, I would have given anything to be back then.
Which would you have been in?
As far as a musical was concerned, you mean?
That would turn into a movie. Or even a musical from the Gene Kelly days, or an era.
I always wanted to play Annie in Annie Get Your Gun. Nellie Forbush in South Pacific. You know what the thing is? I think the current filmmakers should look back at how they shot the previous ones, because they used is it a wide shot? So you could see the choreography. Wasn't a medium shot? Do you know they didn't cut so much in the old films?
They get very clever now.
Yeah, they get too clever, in fact. You know, I was getting a little seasick in Chicago.
MTV fast shots.
Yeah, MTV fast shots, as opposed to being able to see Agnes DeMille's choreography in Oklahoma, which was spectacular. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that so many people want to see musicals in film. You know, that's...
It certainly hasn't died off. But, of course, you're familiar with movies, Driving Miss Daisy?
Yeah, I don't have a movie career. I have a stage career. I'm in movies ever so briefly. But I did do Driving Miss Daisy, and it was a lot of fun.
You enjoyed the experience?
Very much.
Well, of course,
because it was an Australian director,
yeah,
Bruce Beresford. He is a terrific director.
What memory? Well, we see a bit of this with gorgeous Jessica Tandy. Your memories of that? Well,
right before my first scene with Jessica, I turned to Dan and I said, do you realize we're working with the original Blanche Dubois in Streetcar Named Desire? Action. She was luminescent. And I was reading Alec Guinness's Blessings in Disguise, which she is in. She played Ophelia in, I think it was with Olivier and Gielgud. I'm wondering, I don't know if they did not alternate parts. I think Olivier was Hamlet. But she was in the book, and I was reading about her, and there she was. And she was towards the end of her life and very vulnerable because she was still acting and she was forgetting lines. And
was she fearful of that?
I think she was frustrated with herself. And I don't think she was necessarily used to making movies. But she was luminescent. She'd come on the set, and there was a glow. I could cry just thinking about it. She's one of those extraordinary and great actors. And she was fabulous. I don't know what else to say.
Well, of course, Mandy, you're familiar with certainly movies, The Princess Diaries, as well as...
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride, sorry.
Princess Diaries.
Princess Bride, and that wonderful opening line, as well as, we're all adoring fans in Criminal Minds, and before that, Chicago Hope. We talked when you were here 3 years ago, and the different discipline of theatre to television. Are you still enjoying television? I know Criminal Minds, you're not doing that at the moment, but what else would you like to do?
Well, I just want to do wonderful projects with wonderful people, and so that's my goal, to be healthy, to do good material with people that I enjoy working with. That's it for me. I've had so many dreams come true that I don't have a really big wish list other than what I just said: good health, good work, good folk. And that's what I want for the rest of my life. And right now I have a feast with being with Patti, so I don't want to be greedy.
I know we just literally received an email from Leora. Please pass this message on to Mandy. Thank you so much for being a loved presence in our lives for 15 years. And that's from Leora. Just
Thank you, Leora.
another adoring fan. You talk about being healthy. We discussed last time you were here. You did a lot of fundraising work, charity work for various organisations, but especially corneal transplants, which you had some time ago.
I have a 13-year-old little boy's eye and a 14-year-old little girl's eye that I see through. I had an eye disease called keratoconus, which is the degeneration of your corneas, and I've been given the gift of sight because someone gave me their loved one's eyes. And I just encourage people all over the world, while you're healthy and in good spirits, to have a discussion with your family members about donating your organs to people at this great time of loss, which is so painful. You can keep someone else alive. One human life lost can save so many other lives. And we need to do this, and it's a worldwide effort, and it's a painful discussion, but it's necessary, and you keep people alive.
How will the show work?
The Patti Mandy show?
Yes.
As I refer to it?
What do you mean, how will it work?
Well, what songs do you do? How does it all come
All the
together?
Steins.
Yeah?
Explain what you mean by
Julie Stein, Rogers and Hammerstein, Stephen Sondheim. It's a lot of show tunes, and it's a story that Mandy and Paul Ford have weaved together of songs of a relationship, together, apart. And there's anchors. There's South Pacific in the beginning, and Soliloquy at the end, and Merrily We Roll Along in the middle. And
I know our Australian audiences are just very polite, because you've been very vocal about some bad behaviour with audiences at times, especially in this day of the internet, mobile technology.
yeah.
And you've stood there and set them up right in the audience, haven't you?
Well, you know, this is nothing new. This has been going on. Do you remember this? This has been going on for years. They made the announcement about not using flash photography, which of course nobody uses anymore, because years ago, when you flashed, that was dangerous for the actor. And I remember a performance, I don't know if it was your curtain call, Mandy, it could have been your curtain call, that you actually went down to the edge of the stage. You want my picture? Take my picture. You want my picture? Take it now. And I think it was the curtain call, and it was flashes in the first row. So it's been going on for as long as I have been a presence on Broadway. And it's only gotten worse because of the technology, that LED light or whatever you call it.
Yeah, they sit there and text during a show. What's that about?
In a very darkened theater, it's distracting not only to the actors, but especially to the other audience members. And you see that light. You see it in your peripheral vision. You see that light. And what's interesting is it's been brought up how many times I've stopped the show. I've only stopped the show once. I've gone off stage at least 3 or 4 times a week to stage management to tell the ushers where somebody is either photographing, taping, or texting, whatever. But we don't, it's not my desire ever to stop a show. It is incredibly distracting. But in some situations, in Rose's turn, my penultimate performance in Gypsy, I couldn't go off the stage. I was already in the beginning of the song, and I was the only one on stage. And it was an electric motor flash. Bum, 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 this isn't going to stop. This is going to go on for the entire song. So that's why I stopped that. But more often than not, everybody in our business goes off stage and tells stage management. Stage management calls house management.
Behaviour. You just can't go to the theatre and annoy everybody else. It's like
You can hardly go to dinner without somebody pulling out their BlackBerry or cell phone and not talking to you, talking to their... can't you wait?
It's an isolated society, and I think it's because everybody's head's in a computer, pretty much.
Well, we're just delighted to have the both of you back for what will be quite an extraordinary moment of magic for a night with the two of you.
Thank you.
Make sure everybody takes note of those dates. We've got the State Theatre of the Arts in Melbourne. So enjoy it, everyone. Go to the website if you haven't got time to jot it down. But Mandy Patinkin, thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having us.
Last time we got you to sing for us, but I'm so sad that you can't this morning. And
you got the 10 tenors to sing.
I got to say, we are pretty lucky. They'll be coming up shortly. But Patti, LuPone, a real treat to have you on our program, and I do thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
morning.
Thank you.
More coming up. Here's something for you.